Welcome back, everyone. So between all the excitement, the popper excitement, I'm busy preparing for some yellowfish fishing in a very nice stillwater fishery not too far from here, where we'll fish for small-scale yellowfish. And we do that predominantly on dryflies. It's only my second time going there, and it is quite an amazing fishery. I'm going with a friend who knows the fishery very well, and when he invited me, I couldn't. It's one of those things where you don't say no. You cancel all sorts of things to be able to go. And with the kind of flies that we use there are very similar to what we use for smallmouth yellowfish in places like Sterkfontein or any kind of stillwater yellowfish fishery. And that would be a variety of hoppers, beetles, caddis, and some very small mayflies, but also ants, a lot of terrestrials actually. So the fly that I'm going to tie is Balloon Caddis. Now I've tied some algae caddises, and this is kind of similar to the Balloon Caddis, and I'm tying it on a grip 14711 size 10. It's also available in a barbless version, an orange back 14711BL. And I'm using an 8/0 grip thread, a sand color thread. Now you cover the hook shank and a little bit around the bend of the hook, and you go forward with your thread to behind the eye again, right behind the eye. And what I do is to cut strips of foam about 3mm wide, and I cut the end into a sharp arrow-like point, and you place that on top of the hook with a point just before the end of your thread. You place that on the hook and you make a tight wrap right behind the eye to secure that right there, and then you wrap back with open wraps and not too tight, because you need to use this piece of foam that you're tying down on the hook to help you to shape the abdomen all the way to the back and then to the front again. All the way to the front with open wraps, so you can see the abdomen shaping nicely now. And right behind the eye of the hook you stop again. There you can see the abdomen. Now right behind the eye I tied the foam down very tight in order to create a little bit of space where you can tie the wing in. Now before we start with the wing, I'm going to make open wraps to the back again without pulling them tight all the way to there, and we're going to start to build the abdomen there. And I use a very thin or fine trilobal dubbing in a golden olive. It's a grip dubbing, but you can use there are many different dubbings. Wapsi has got some nice dubbings, Hairline has got some really nice dubbings. I think Wapsi's super fine dryfly dubbing is a really nice dubbing to use for this. There are many dubbings that you can use for this. It's not a pattern where you have to use a specific brand or whatever. It's then you just dab the thread. I don't use a dubbing loop or any of those fancy techniques. Just dab that thread and start to wrap that around the hook and that abdomen to build that abdomen. You need to build that up in so that it tapers towards the front. Tapers a little bit, it goes wider and thicker towards the front, and this helps to get that fly to sit in the water in the right way. And you dab it very thin. The thread must be very thinly dubbed. And you keep on wrapping and building that to the front. way to that spot where it narrows down, where you're going to tie the wing in. And this is a bit of a time-consuming step in the fly. You need a little bit more. Now, with a normal Alka caddis, there would be a hackle palmer tied around the abdomen. I don't do it on this fly. I like the abdomen to sit in the surface film rather than on top. And so you dab it all the way to there, and then you get your hackle stacker, or your deer hair stacker rather, and a bunch of deer hair. I like to use a slightly coarser deer hair for this, and a natural color. Now, the colors that we tie this in, or that I tie this in, is predominantly an olivey color abdomen with you can use more towards insect green sometimes, that also works very well, or cream, and a natural lighter colored deer hair for the wing. And you stick that in there, get in the stacker, get all the tips together to create that perfect wing. And place that on top of the hook, about the same length as the hook, and you pull, make one wrap over the deer hair and pull down on that very lightly. If you use a thin thread, don't pull too hard. And you make a few wraps between the deer hair ends to make sure you secure that properly on the hook, and you wrap that, those wraps move forward, so you're going to end up right behind that, the eye of the hook again. Right there. And you grab those ends and you trim them very short out of the way. All the way around. And then secure that with a few more wraps, and you move the thread back towards the dubbing abdomen. Tie that wing down against the dubbing abdomen. Now, the nice thing about this fly is and we're going to dab that that thorax now before we fold the foam over. Nice thing about this fly is that you can turn it into a terrestrial. You can turn it into a very small hopper very quickly. So I tie two versions. One is the caddis version, and the one is the hopper version. And I'll show you now how you do that. Because we fish small hoppers and sometimes very big hoppers for the smallmouth yellowfish, but for the small scale yellowfish, sometimes a smaller hopper is a better fly to use. I'll show you now how you turn that into a hopper. So you dab that thorax with the same color dubbing. Make sure it's not covered with dubbing underneath the hook as well, in the hook shank. Tie that down nicely, and you end with your thread against the wing of the fly, not behind the eye of the hook. Then you take the foam and you pull that over, and this is one of the nice things that makes this fly so buoyant. So I pretty much always use a yellow foam because it's visible, it's easy to see on the water. You tie that down right there, form a little head. Now if you tie the caddis version, I would cut the foam off, I would tie the fly off, and I would stop right there. But because I'm doing the hopper version, all you do is to tie in some rubber legs, and that turns it into a very nice little hopper imitation. And you can I use the very fine rubber legs, and I tied the end the same length as the abdomen. So I'm going to do the side, my side first, and I tie down right below the foam, and then the side, there's a few here that's not in the right position. Tie that down there, just like that. Just 1 or 2 wraps. Just want to get that in position there. There we go. You cut the loop. I just use one and I fold it double. So you cut the loop. Secure that with another 1 or 2 wraps. Make sure everything is in position. A few hair there that's not playing along. And then you tie that off. We'll finish that right there. Cut the thread and then cut the foam on top. Now I always leave about the same length as the length of the head on top, and then I cut a little, I cut the corners, so it's a kind of a sharper shape there, like that. And there you can see the legs, what the legs are doing to the fly. It turns it into a very nice little hopper that you can fish. This is a size 10. I cut that back leg a little bit shorter. This is a size 10, and it's a very nice fly to use for those yellowfish, especially on calm days next to reeds and stuff in the water. So tie a few, give it a try. Thanks for watching. Please like the video, please subscribe to the channel. There will be more of these, and we will be concentrating a little bit more on the new poppers in the next few videos. Thanks for watching.